Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Asset Ambitions podcast. I'm your host, Mathieu Jacques, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. His name is Danny Dawson. He is the proud owner of the Danny Dawson team. He is an interprovincial team, actually, a real estate team between Ontario and the Quebec province. So it's going to be very interesting to ask him some questions about that. And funny story how we met. 2 weeks ago, we had a ski event actually in Camp Fortune, and he was out there giving out some free 1 ounce Fireball bottles with his card attached to it, of course. So he's a big referral business type of guy, and that's how I like to do my business as well. So hopefully you viewers out there can gather some information and learn from all this conversation. We'll be discussing his business, how he grew from A to Z, and then some analogies, real estate tips, and everything along those lines. So Danny, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
There we go. And well, let's get right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about your path and basically from A to Z building your business? And even then, before getting your license, what prompted you to becoming a realtor? How did that go about?
Yeah. So before real estate, I was going into policing. That was the trajectory I was going for. And then I realized I don't take direction well. I didn't work well under people, and I was an entrepreneur at heart. So I realized I need to make a shift. And I've always wanted to invest in real estate. So what I did was I got a real estate license. I started exploring that, and then I jumped full time into it. And I treated it like a job. Like I showed up every single day at 7:00. I was in the office before everybody else making phone calls.
There we go.
The agents would walk in, the older agents, the ones that are successful, and they would see me there making phone calls to random people that I didn't know at 7, 8, 9 in the morning before anyone even started work. And that's kind of what helped me get some momentum. And these people started sharing business with me. They didn't hesitate to refer me their rental clients, like all the lower end buyers, anything they didn't want, they would send my way. So that helped me get started.
That's it. When people start recognizing the work ethic that we have in us, I'm starting to see the same myself as well with this office here that you've seen earlier. And I'm keep getting referred business from our partners here, and we're all partners in this business. And if you have the work ethic, it'll be recognized in the marketplace.
Exactly. That's how I saw it. And then, going forward from there and how I slowly transition into becoming a team is I started a partnership with somebody else, and then realized that wasn't the right path. Again, it was that moment where I realized I'm an entrepreneur. I want to handle everything myself. I want to create the business. So what I did was I started getting in them in, and then started growing a team from there. And that was over a period of, I think, 5 years. It took me 5 years to get to the point where I started bringing people on and growing the team.
Yes. So you were solo and with an admin to start. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I started with one admin, and then, that's just when you start getting busy. Like you're on the road, you don't even have time to write an offer, and it's 9:00 and you've got 3 offers to write. That's when you realize, okay, I need help.
That's it. Exactly.
You do the math when you're ready for that point. You figure out like what's your hourly rate and how many tasks are you doing that just really don't fit into that hourly rate, and could somebody else do it? So that's what I did. Got an admin, and that changed everything for me. I ended up focusing, being able to work on what I was good at. Had a lot more time available for that.
That's it, and really start scaling the business, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And even with that, though, it did get to a point where I ended up working too much. I was working every single evening, every weekend. The admin's not there during those periods. And so it was just like consistent overflow. And when that happens, you start to, your service goes down, right? So your clients will feel it.
That's it. That's the last thing you want
It's the last thing you want. And it's kind of the pain points of growing. And so and then of course for myself, I started to feel like, okay, it wasn't as enjoyable in that business when you're just stressed out all the time and you're losing track of what's happening.
Starts weighing.
Yeah. So that's when I realized I needed to grow, and I needed a buyer's agent to come on and help me with some of the business that I just didn't have time to service and run around with.
And so where did you start? Did you start in Ontario or in Quebec?
Started in Ontario.
Okay.
I grew up in Quebec, and I lived there my whole life. But I started in Ottawa because I was more English speaking. I thought the market was better there. That was my perception at the time. And then I realized there was a lot of business flowing over from Ontario to Quebec. Constantly I was sending my business over to Quebec. I felt like it wasn't getting serviced the way I would have done it. Felt like some leads were getting dropped. And so that's when I realized there was an opportunity to go work there. Sure. And I think that was about 5 years ago. I've been in the business 10 years now. 5 years ago, I got a license in Quebec, so right at the end of COVID. As soon as I did that, I ended up tripling my business that year.
Really? Yeah. Really? Okay, so that was a good move then.
It was a great move. And it's not for everybody, right? Like everyone thinks, okay, Danny's successful there. Like I could do a dual licensing and do the same thing, but it comes down to, I had a network there. I had a really strong referral network that I've built with my company at Royal LePage in Ottawa and throughout Canada. So with that, I now became their Quebec guy. So I was getting a lot of business from Ontario realtors over to Quebec.
There we go. And when you have a strong referral business that's built, it starts compounding. It really starts compounding. So that's a great base to start with for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if you could please walk us through now an average day, a typical day for you.
Oh, an average day. There's no day that's average, but I'm pretty consistent with how I build my schedule. And that's one of the things I train my team on is you got to treat this like a job. Like let's say you had nothing planned, you have to plan something. So I'm doing that 2 weeks ahead of time. I'm usually 2 weeks ahead of my schedule. It looks like Tuesdays and Thursdays, we spend a 2-hour block. And what I've done is I bring everyone together from the team because nobody does it on their own. It kind of has to be forced to do lead generation.
For sure.
And lead generation for us is not so much just like cold calling people. It's actually touching base with our network, reaching out to see where they're at with their real estate needs. How can we help them? And so blocking off that time, getting everyone in the room together, it's been really efficient for us. We did it 2 weeks ago, and the guys on my team realized like in a 2-hour block, they got 6 meetings booked, buyer consultations or a listing consultation for leads that are 2 years old, right? They haven't talked to them in a bit. And then apart from that, I'm booking meetings for listing consultations. I'm doing market evaluations on the more intricate properties. My team will handle the ones that are a little bit more simple. And then it's management and business oversight. So when you run an operation like a team, you've got several people under you or working alongside you, I should say. So it's figuring out or making sure that they're implementing your big ideas, the business plan, like you're slowly progressing forward every single day.
That must be an art for sure, managing, because us realtors or many realtors are ultimate goal is to build our own thing, right? We're entrepreneurs of nature, most realtors, I'd say. So, managing people that have different visions and everything, that must be an art for sure.
I went through, I think, 4 or 5 assistants before I found the right team. Wow. And before I honed in on my skills of being a manager.
There we go.
And so I was part of the problem. It was a learning experience. It was like learning how to deal with people, and how to encourage them to drive your business forward and incentivize them to help you.
There definitely needs to be those incentives for sure. Exactly. Because it's such a pivot, right? Because, right now I'm a solo realtor myself. I don't have any admin help and I'm totally fine with that at the moment. And so right now it's going well and everything. But when it'll be time to start pivoting, it's you really got to find the right people to surround yourself that have the best interest in mind. But of course, you need the incentive for them to have the best interest in mind. And it's a common ground here.
And so I'll tell you one story where I learned a lot from, and it's Kayla, who's still with me. She's our listing coordinator on the team. She knows my business inside out. She was working with me for 3 years, and it got to a point where she was getting extremely stressed out. I was stressed, work is busy, and it was like go, go, go all the time. And she had a hard time keeping up, and especially because I had big expectations. So we were planning things like client parties. We had 50 plus listings going on at one time.
Wow.
We were I mean, she's doing social media, marketing, like she's wearing every
That's it.
hat.
It's
all
a
the
it's a
accounts.
big encompassment
Yeah,
of
so
yeah.
she ended up not being so good at any of those because there was no focus, and that's not her fault. She told me that, and she gave me those signs, and there was all these warning signs to a point where she ended up leaving the team and going to another one. And I had to beg her to come back. And when I did, what I realized we needed to clarify her role
Yes.
and make her really, really good at one thing, and that was listings. And there's enough work in my business for one person just to do listings. Marketing is its own separate category. And so now we have a full-time marketing person.
There we go.
We have a full-time listing coordinator, and we have a full-time executive assistant. The executive assistant is more like what Kayla used to be, but now it's, minus all the listing and marketing stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Okay, good.
everyone's got a lane, and it's more refined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we run super smooth.
I like that structure for sure. You can connect all the dots from those positions and it really builds itself up together.
But that took, 5 admins leaving,
Yeah.
training them and leaving.
You don't accomplish that in one day, that's for sure.
Exactly. It was a huge
It's a
learning.
process to build a business, but it's an amazing process. And if we have that flame inside of us, we just need to keep stoking it, and it will never disappear. Entrepreneurs, it's just a beautiful type of human beings, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's move on a little bit. Where is your focus? Are you more focused on the Quebec side yourself personally, and do you have your guys on the Ontario side in your team? Like, how does that part of the team structure work?
So we do a lot more business in Quebec by accident. We have this consistent flow of business that comes from agents in Ontario and agents across Canada who just know us now.
Okay.
So I say it's by accident. It was built that way, right? But Ontario is a lot more competitive. And so as soon as I got my license and we started getting lots of business there, we have more signs, we have more calls, we have more leads. So it just spirals from there. And we're still doing very well in Ontario, but I see more of an opportunity to grow in Ontario right now. And it used to be just me that was pushing all of the business there. Now I have another team member who's going to help push that along. So
Okay.
we do more in Quebec. We want to do more in Ontario. And, our office is in Ottawa. So we're here every single day.
That's it. So it keeps moving for sure. So where do you see is it moving big in the Gatineau side right now? You mentioned there's less competition.
Yeah.
So I guess you're able to actually hone down on that and kind of get a bigger part of the pie, I guess, then.
Yeah. I think what I bring to the table to the Quebec market is the Ontario type service. So to win a listing in Ontario or to win a buyer, you have to be ultra competitive. You have to have a lot to offer to them.
On an average listing appointment, I'll compete against 3 other realtors.
Exactly. Yeah. And in Quebec, I'll still compete. The difference is the services I'm offering are a lot more. We're cleaning houses and staging, offering handyman services.
It's a different standard.
We have print marketing that's in the house that costs a lot of money. We have super high-end video and photo that a lot of the agents aren't doing as much. So we're at another standard. We're basically taking the luxury standard you would expect in Ontario and bringing it to Quebec on even $300,000 houses. To us, it doesn't matter the price range. I want the neighbor to look at our product and say, wow, I want that guy to list our house.
That's it.
The signs look good. The marketing looks good.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, you wanted to speak for itself.
Exactly. Like your listing is basically your sales pitch for the next listing on that street.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the most common mistakes with all your experience? You'd be able to pinpoint, I guess, the most common mistakes of people trying to build a real estate team. What do you see around, and what could be corrected?
I think some people try to grow too fast. They just think, oh, I need a buyer's agent. And they hire the wrong people, and they don't take the time to train their team. You can't just hire somebody under you and expect them to service the client at the same level that you have. Because if you're at that point, you've probably done something right and you're doing something well.
That's it.
So you can't expect somebody to come in under you and do the exact same thing. It's going to take time away from your business for you to train them and guide them into how you want to run your business.
For sure.
So that's one. And you have to set that expectation with them, and you have to set aside time to guide them. And I think a lot of agents don't do that. Some of them are just trying to grow too fast. They might have leads, but we're not a business where we're encouraging people to come and work with us because we have leads to offer them. What I actually say is the opposite. I'm like, you'll have some leads, but I'm going to teach you to go out and get your own. I'm going to teach you how to service clientele so that they love you, they refer you, and they come back.
Yes.
Because that reflects on me and it reflects on you. And that's how you're going to be able to grow a very long-term business that's more consistent.
That's it, exactly. It's the more so long-term view of the business. If you're based on referrals or based on actually honing on the most prized clients that have the best ROI, it's probably best than calling 50 random leads that will be very hard to convert in the long term or even short term. So it's two different businesses, but that's why I wanted to get you on the podcast, because I envy the way that you do run your business, and I think it's a very good method to be building it on referrals like that, especially you being on the other side of the border. I guess you got many realtor contacts as well that do refer you some business, like you've mentioned, like just that ski event. I mean, we're on the podcast here. It's been 2 weeks that we've met, and you kind of popped out of the crowd. There was many realtors there that could have approached me wanting some referral business, but you had that little incentive. You had a little bottle. It's not that alcohol will get me to give you some some referrals, but it's very unique. So let's dive into that. How do you build that perfect referral business? What are strategies for those realtors out there that want to absorb information from someone with a lot of experience like you?
It starts with having just good values and ethics and building a little bit of a brand around yourself. And by brand, I don't mean, nice business cards and a nice website. I just mean when you're going to events and you're talking to people, they start recognizing you for being a hard worker, for being professional, for showing up on time. All of these little things that are so simple to achieve, that's how people start seeing you. And when you start fostering these relationships, whether it's with agents or people in your sphere of influence, they're going to recognize that and they're going to see it. And the other part to that is you got to ask for business. So a lot of agents will be scared for that part. It's like, I have no shame in asking you, I want all of your referrals. I'm going to be working for the next 25 years. I want to be your guy in Quebec. But here's what I'm going to do for you. When you send me business, I'm going to take care of the paperwork. I'm going to send you the referral form that day. My admin does it. So you feel confident that, wow, I just sent Danny business, and 2 minutes later, I have a referral form signed in my inbox.
That's it.
It's saved on our file. I might call you in a year from now and say, hey, there's a paycheck ready for you. And you're like, I forgot I even sent you that business. Yeah. Like, it's on our notes. We don't forget. Like, everything is seamless. Again, it took us a while to get to that point and build the systems to have this. But this is what gives agents the trust to give us business.
That's it. That makes total sense. That's the type of business that I want to actually build myself. I run on my own name personally, and I don't see myself having a team in the long run when I think about it. I've been analyzing that, and I think I'll remain solo, but probably with some admin help ultimately when it comes time. But it's such an integral part to be showing up, like you mentioned. Like you show up and you show your work ethic, and the opportunities come. There's just random opportunities that have been hitting my desk lately. And I used to be in a team. I started in a team like many other realtors out there. These opportunities would not have come to me if I was not in if I was in a team. Right. When I was in the team, like it's you're already in an organization. You get the opportunities from the team leader and everything like that. But for the guys wanting to build a solo business out there, it's really showing up next to other realtors that are on their own but might have an overload of actual business and can delegate as they have confidence in the services you can offer, right? So yeah. So that you mentioned, that's how you had started as well.
No, I started solo.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I started solo, and I decided to grow the team mainly due to the fact that there was an overflow of business.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was more of a work-life balance thing. Like I used to be excited about making lots of money. Now I'm more excited about going skiing with my kids all
Family and
weekend
yeah,
and
there you
not
go.
having to deal with phone calls or problems. And so the thing is with a service-based business is you still need to be available. So I've put systems in place so that I can go away on vacation. I could be out on a weekend and still have my admin team or my realtor team taking care of every single thing that comes through. So the clients are serviced, the listings are serviced, and the public is serviced when they're looking at our stuff.
There we go. There we go. That's amazing. So how do you actually scale? Are there some systems that you've seen that you've implemented that seem to outperform what you may have seen in some other teams? Or what are some things that you've learned that really helped you scale?
So I'm a huge nerd when it comes to systems. So I have a ton of systems in place. The way I look at it, if you kind of reverse engineer a transaction that happens, there's probably a couple hundred steps in each transaction, right? And touch points with the client. So what I try to do is figure out what the touch points actually require the realtor that's involved with that client. And so that would be me on a listing, for example. My best use on a listing is giving advice on price and negotiations and strategy. Three very simple things, but take a lot of long-term experience and market knowledge to advise on. So I'm more of an advisory role at that point and a negotiator. Everything else related to that listing can be handled by my admin team. So I can take out 98% of the work in a listing by having my team manage it. And the service is top notch to the client because when they have a question, I could be here right now and my team is answering text messages and calls and emails because the clients don't want to hear from me. They just want to get an answer to their question.
Yeah, that's a good structure for sure.
Yeah.
So you're there for the big integral parts of the transaction, but you also have some help alongside that can get those answers quickly because that's part of our service. Like if you're able to answer questions and help in a short manner, you may just get the client over any other realtor.
Well, that and on a listing as an example, I tell the client, I'm like, you don't want me coming over, driving an hour, putting the sign in the ground, and then driving back. I just wasted 2.5 hours of my day putting up a sign. That's not where my value is. I pay somebody to do that. I pay somebody to clean the house and to stage it. So there's realtors who get excited about, oh, I do everything myself, but I'm like,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to be selling the house, right? That's what the client is hiring you for. So as I grew, I put systems in place for all of that. On the contact management side, we use Follow Up Boss. So for
Okay.
the whole team, I can see and track where our referrals come in, who's handling them. If they haven't called them in a week, what's going on? I can hear the phone calls, everything's recorded. So we're tracking, and as a team leader, this is my job to make sure like every process that we have in place is being followed by the agent. And as well as like the steps to a listing on Follow Up Boss, we have every single step laid out. So when somebody gets moved from an active sale to conditional, there's 20 tasks that drop down, all for the admin to do, and they get checked off. So I can see where we're at every step of the way.
That's it.
Nothing
Exactly.
ever gets missed.
It's so important to have all that organization in the real estate business because deals can slip through. You don't want that happening.
And people are still using Excel spreadsheets,
Yeah.
right? Which is like, I mean, it works when you have one or two transactions, but we're talking about how do you scale a business?
Yes.
You're putting a system in place so that you can run 50 to 100 listings on your own easily.
When you're at a team or an operation like that, all that matters is that if ever you do end up going with a service, yes, it has its cost, but the ROI on that, does it outperform? The return on investment, does it outperform the cost of that such service that you went with?
This is where you do that and the analysis on your business and figure out what's your time worth, what's your hourly salary. And if your hourly salary is $100 an hour and you can hire somebody at $30 an hour, makes sense, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Take that off and now you focus on what you're good at.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the market for the viewers out there that might not be realtors or spamming information about being realtors and teams and whatnot. But yeah, how's the market treating you lately on the Gatineau side, for example?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like right now, it's very hit or miss as to where the market's going, especially with what's happening in the world and the economy. There's so much uncertainty.
Yes.
But realistically, or what's happening and what we've seen in the last few years here is, despite the economy, Ottawa Gatineau is still very strong. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people still have their jobs. There's like, the mortgage default rate is still at an all-time low. So we're in a very good position. What I've noticed over on the Gatineau side, there's a ton of waterfront properties. As soon as you leave Elmer, Wakefield, Buckingham, everything around there is cottage country and lakeside properties.
Yes.
We're noticing a lot of people wanting to sell. Last year, there was a lot of expired listings. This year, we have a lot of clientele wanting to sell. I'm telling them the same thing. I'm like, you might want to hold. It's mostly COVID buyers who bought cottages and their mortgage terms are now up. And
Wanted to get out of the city and,
Exactly.
go more rural.
And they realized, well, we travel now, so we don't need the cottage. A cottage is a lot more headache than you think it might be. And so, and mortgage rates have doubled since when they purchased.
That's
So
it.
it doesn't make sense financially for them to hold it when things are sometimes tight at home. So
Yeah.
cottages right now are struggling. There's good opportunities. Like if you're in a good position and you have money, like now is the time to buy a cottage. The actual real estate market downtown or more in the core, it's doing extremely well. We're seeing things sell within 30 days.
Okay, that's nice.
And in a standard market where it's balanced, a 60 days on market would be your average. So we're still in a very good market.
Okay.
I'd say it's somewhat balanced.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, it feels balanced to me as well. It's been I'm liking such a market. It's a good balance, not too rushed of a business, no irrational decision by clients, which we wouldn't want because we need to keep the best interest in mind of our clients all the time. And but yeah, it's been treating us good on the Ontario side as well lately. I deal mostly out of the Eastern Ontario, and yeah, it's a good market to be in right now.
So downtown Ottawa, I've got buyers shopping in Glebe and Westboro right now. We're seeing bidding wars
Yes, eh?
on properties up to 1.2 million.
Yeah.
There's bidding wars and they're selling within.
Because there's so much density, but there's not like it's big lots. For example, in Westboro, like it's big lots, quite wide, quite deep. So not enough properties on the market for the demand that I've been seeing. It's been a very high demand area. People are trying to stay close to the big center.
It's always been like that. Like
Yeah.
Westboro, Glebe, Hintonburg as well. So Elgin Street, Golden Triangle, these neighborhoods have always been very desirable.
In high demand, yeah.
And right now I don't know what it is, but the low inventory is creating this problem. On the Quebec side, we're seeing bidding wars as well, but it's mostly on lower end products. So like your townhouses between 300 to 500, that market's doing extremely well.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say if this is going to be a seller's market this year. The economy feels like that's going to dampen that. The challenge is you have a lot of buyers who are still hesitant. And no matter what you tell them, say, hey, look, I'm seeing bidding wars. They're like, the market's scary because
Yes.
they see the news.
Yeah.
But Ottawa is so strong that we tend to.
That's it. I mean, with all the
Well.
government workers and everything like that, it's a very stable market. Like I was talking to someone about the Toronto market, and over there, it's very volatile, and there's a lot of listings that are sitting a long time on market. Yes, there is demand that pours into Toronto, but much less stable demand and predictable demand. Here, with all the government workers and we're the capital, like it or not, with all the immigration that's coming here, there's going to be constant demand here. So it makes it very interesting for sure.
Yeah, and just a side note on that, we talked about residential and cottage property, but the condo market's not doing so hot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're obviously seeing a decrease in condo values, both in Ottawa and in Gatineau, and long days on market.
Yes, that's very right. Yeah. That's it. And how about the difference in pricing? I'm not very familiar with the Quebec side, but I have some clients that do actually pivot because of the difference in price. What's like the average?
So average is somewhere around 700,000, but that's for, like, I'm talking a large single family home, right? You can, if we were to compare distance to downtown, you can be in Hull or Elmer and be 15 minutes to downtown Ottawa and get a townhouse for 500,000, right? Or even 450 in some cases if you're going a little bit further into Elmer. So try to get that in Ottawa. It's next to impossible. Like
Yeah.
you're going to Canada or Orleans and you're not getting anything as nice or new.
No, and it's going to be in the 650 range really quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And condos, the same thing. Like you can get a condo downtown Hull for 300,000, and that same condo in Ottawa is going to be 6. So there's a significant price difference or price gap between Ontario and Quebec, and part of that is driven by the perception. Like it comes down to supply and demand. Gatineau has the supply, like, and they're still building. The thing is, the demand is not as high as Ottawa because of tax reasons, healthcare, language laws. There's a lot of reason that Quebec is failing. Not failing, but they're not attracting people.
Yeah.
They're not other than French-speaking individuals.
That's
they're not
it,
attracting
exactly.
people. Now, I live in Chelsea, and it's a very unique community because you've got the Gatineau Park, and people will gravitate towards Chelsea purely for lifestyle reasons, and they're willing to pay the taxes. They're willing to pay, or come over and forget the political reasons because they want to live in the park, in the Gatineau Park.
Oh yeah, that's it. It seems like a really great area. I'll have to go check it out for sure. I've been in Chelsea quite a few times, but never to that park for sure.
Yeah, and the price is very different. So that would be a community where you'll see the pricing is quite high.
Yeah.
Your average single family home is over 800,000, and a lot of them are in the 1.2 range for newer homes. So it'd be comparable to some Westboro prices.
Okay.
And it's
okay.
similar demographic. You'll see a lot of people say, I want to live Westboro, Glebe, or Chelsea.
Okay, that's it. Exactly. Very interesting. And is that mostly where you deal with your clients, or you're pretty much everywhere, or do you have a certain, area that you like to focus on?
I mean, I love Chelsea because I live there, but we end up going almost anywhere within an hour to an hour and a half outside of downtown. And the reason for that is we work by referral. So when a client calls us and says, hey, I want to buy a house here, do you service that area? We want to say yes. Like we don't want to lose that client.
For sure.
We want to service them and do a good job.
Of course.
And there's this misconception sometimes with people who are like, oh, I want somebody who like knows this area. Well, the problem is we do know these areas, right? Like we've worked in them many times. Living there or marketing there is very different than knowing the area. What people actually need is a realtor who knows how to get information, who knows how to dig for the zoning, knows how to look at properties around to make sure there's no developments happening. So you don't need to know the area. You need to know how to investigate. That's the difference.
For sure.
So I
Yes.
find that a challenge sometimes with some buyers who ask that question. Be like, oh, how well do you know this area? Well, I know it well, but I know how to investigate it better than any other realtor.
There we go. That was my pitch for the last few years. I mean, it's been 3 years that I'm in the business now, and I started, in Limoges, which is 25 minutes east of Ottawa, and it's a small French community over there as well, and I needed a way to understand the neighborhoods, right? So I was on all those tools and trying to get used to the areas because I'm from Northern Ontario and I was not used to the area here. And it didn't take long for me to be an expert in the area compared to my competition, in my opinion. So it's very important for the realtors out there to use all those tools to understand what zoning is and to understand the neighborhoods. Where are the schools? That's a question that comes up often. What's the language of those schools? What age brackets are in there? Is there actually school buses that come here for a school that's 10 minutes away? Is there? That's some questions that you want to be able to answer for your clients.
The agent who's worked in Limoges for 30 years, in my opinion, you got to make sure they're up to date. because that zoning is going to change every 5 years. There's
Yes.
going to be new businesses coming in, new infrastructure. And if you're not up to date on that, your information from the last 30 years is completely irrelevant.
It's been changed for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could say that, like, I have 10 years experience, but that means nothing unless you're up to date as what's happening today.
Yes.
Key.
Very true. Very true. Ever thought about becoming a realtor? It's a rewarding path, and I'm here to guide you through the ropes, from licensing to closing deals. Join me at eXp Realty using the link in the description. They offer amazing resources like training, tools, and support to get new agents up and running fast. You'll be in great hands. Plus, as I am in EXP1, I get to use this amazing podcast studio to create content for my business and grow. So could you if you join us. It's all about helping you succeed. What's one underrated tip that you'd recommend any realtor to start utilizing today?
Pick up the phone and work. Like, it sounds so simple, but you get caught up in all of these AI tools and like CRMs and all of these. Like, I have them all, and they're important to put in place. But like, you can do that in a week's time over Christmas when it's dead. And then the rest of the year, your focus should be picking up the phone, calling clients all day long.
Yes.
Just chasing opportunities and helping people.
There's nothing better than being in the business and doing it. Like, you can do research, you can try to find the next best tool, the next revolutionary thing, but it's a service business if you're not giving the service that you're pitching to clients.
I've seen people sit there and design their business card for 10 hours in the office, and I'm like, you don't need a business card. Like, you need to pick up the phone and start calling people, and they're scared to have hard conversations or talk to somebody they haven't talked to in a year because they forgot. Like, just work. And when you do that, there was one time where like I think I had 20 some buyers, and they were up on a whiteboard, and I was like, okay, I gotta start closing deals. And I mean that in a good way, not in a greasy sales way. But I look at these people and I'm like, they want me to sell them a house. They're waiting for me. So I looked at everybody and I said, how can I find them something? And I'd go on MLS and I'd search and I'd call them up and I'd say, hey, look, I just found one. I think this is perfect for you. It actually matches it. We're in the business of matching people with homes or opportunities that we come across. And I think that year, like, I ended up doing 20 more deals than I did the year before, just because I was like always trying to find them something. And I'd call people and they'd be like, oh yeah, that house is amazing. I can't believe you found me that. It's on MLS. It's on their search. They could have seen it.
Well, I mean, on the search, there's 150 different properties. Like, how do you end up seeing that one and you might miss it? But if we actually spend time and we listen, that's another big part of the business, is listening to what the client actually wants. And if you actually listen, they'll tell you exactly what they want. And the only thing you have to do is go back home and find what it is that they want and present it.
And the most exciting part is when I could talk to you and say, hey, I got somebody looking in Limage. Do you have a listing? And you have a listing coming up. And all of a sudden we made this match.
Yes.
And it was no headache for anybody, and both parties are happy. Like, that is the best thing you can do. And I've done that so many times.
There we go.
So
there we go.
just pick up the phone and work.
You got it. You got it. So for some other quick tips, rapid fire wins for working with a first-time home buyer.
Working with a first-time home buyer. I mean, so guiding them is the key every step of the way, and not bombarding them right off the bat. So what I do is this is not rapid fire. Now I'm going into details, but a listing or a buyer consultation is key. A lot of agents skip this step. Somebody calls you, says, I want to see this house. You meet the person, they like you, and then you just keep showing them houses when they call you. That's not the right way, in my opinion. It used to be it's bring them into the office. Now it's a virtual call. We sit down for sometimes an hour to an hour and a half. And I make sure that we go through every step. What's your finances look like? What are your goals? How long are you holding this house for? And make sure they understand that, like, okay, well, we only want to hold it for 2 years. Guess what? That's a bad idea. Here's why. You're not going to make money in 2 years. You're paying CMHC. You're going to lose money. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Right? They went to the bank to get a mortgage. Well, I have a mortgage broker who gets you a better rate and a lot better service. Why don't you check with them and have a pre-approval letter printed out, ready to go? if we're in a market where things are selling fast, we got to prepare them for what are we going to do for an inspection? Who's our inspector? Let's line them up. I'll introduce you. Who's our lawyer? So we can ask questions if it's a condo and a status certificate that you need. Like there's all these little things that we need to guide them on. And by the end of that meeting, they're like, wow, I did not know half of this information.
That's it, exactly. It's their first time. It's in the name. There's some people that had experiences buying places, and still, you need to run them through the process still once again. But A to Z, you really need to not miss any of the steps and explain them. And if there's some questions, be there to answer them.
That meeting is key to building trust with them, showing them the pathway to buying a house. Then after that, it's really just guiding them and empowering them to make an offer on the right place. And they're going to rely on you to be like, is this the right house? Like sometimes they need the push off the fence. And if you're a good realtor with good morals, you're going to be like, guys, this is the one. It's well priced. It fits your budget. It's not going to be a burden long term when it comes to maintenance. Like I feel comfortable selling you this.
There we go. Well, for our viewers out there, maybe there's going to be some first-time home buyers. Can we run through the process really quickly together?
Yeah. So you want to run through like what I would do with a first-time home buyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is valuable here.
So the absolute first step is engaging a realtor. Like I think that's number one because the realtor has all of the connections and the ability to guide you through the process. And you are not, by meeting with a realtor, you're not stuck with them. Like if they meet with me or they meet with you, it's us giving you information and then you decide, okay, are we the right fit for you?
That's it. You don't feel stuck with us, that's for sure. Exactly. But we're there to answer questions.
Exactly. So that first step, meeting with the realtor to go through a buyer consultation and get all of the information you need and help that realtor understand what your needs are and kind of line you up on the right path. Then what I would do from there is set you up with a mortgage broker. Mortgage broker is going to look at all of your finances, give you a pre-approval so we know exactly how much you can shop with. When I work with buyers, we always sign a buyer contract. So it's like, to me, it's like a paper handshake saying, Danny, you're a realtor, I'm hiring you. And it's the don't screw me over clause. And, I'm going to show you 10 houses on a weekend. Don't go buy with somebody else.
Yeah.
You get paid once the deal happens. So and I explain that to them. And I'm like, at any point, if you're not happy with the service, let's talk about it. And if you're really not happy with the service, like you're not stuck. We'll never hold you to a contract.
That's it. And talking about the pre-approval process, so once you have a pre-approval, keep in mind as well, there's going to be some other costs. So maybe you'll want to shop 3 to 5% underneath that pre-approval. There's going to be the land transfer tax when you take possession of that house. There's going to be some lawyer fees for the transaction. There's going to be your moving fees for the transaction. There's a multitude of fees that you want to keep in mind. And sometimes you'll take possession of a home as a first-time home buyer. It's a given. You might have some work to do in that house. So keep some part of your budget loose in mind before purchasing.
Exactly. And then from there, it's as simple as shopping for a house. And what will happen is a lot of people will end up shopping for a house for way too long. And newer agents who don't have the experience might feel like, okay, well, I'm just going to do what the client says and go to every house with them and say, do you like it? A good agent will say, guys, we're not on the right track. We're shopping in neighborhoods where houses are above your budget. As you can see, they're selling for too high. They're going over the asking price. So maybe we need to redirect or explore other neighborhoods. So it's about guiding the client in the right direction. And I always tell them between now and the time you buy, let's say it's like a 3-month or 6-month process, we want to educate them on prices. So if we go see a house and you really like it, but there's something about it that doesn't, fall in love, let's just keep an eye on it. Let's figure out what it sells for. And that's your learning experience. It's like that one sold for $500. Okay, now we know that nice houses in this neighborhood with a good kitchen sells for $500. So when the next house comes up, you're ready. Because by the time you're buying, I want you to be educated and know that house is worth $5.
Yes.
And it's not just me telling you.
That's it. Exactly. You don't miss your shot.
Yeah.
And now, okay, we have an accepted offer on the property. Well, now we have more due diligence to do on the property.
Yeah.
More often than not, we'll recommend doing an inspection on the property. So we'll refer an inspector, and if you have your contact, that's totally fine as well. Throughout the inspection, it takes about 2 2 to 3 hours, and we'll be going through the whole house in detail, taking a look at every single nook and cranny, try to not miss anything, and get a clear mind on, do we want to move forward with this purchase here, or is there too much work to be done that we could not foresee in the first showing at the property. And if you're able to move forward and you can accept the projects that might need to undergone, then we can move forward, and there's going to be then the next process.
A big part of that process too is also calculating how much is this house going to cost you over the next 10 years. Preparing for the roof needs to be replaced. These are all normal things. Like you got to educate the buyer on, it's okay to buy a house with an old roof. I actually don't mind it because I know that I can replace the roof with the shingles I want, and it's going to be solid for the next 10 years. People shy away from that, like, oh, well, I can't afford a new roof. We probably shouldn't buy a house because the roof is going to be old, and the furnace is going to be old at some point. If it's old now and it needs to be replaced immediately, there's options. You can put it on a purchase plus improvement. The bank will offer you, or CMHC will offer you, money to fix up the house, whether it's kitchen, bathroom, roof, furnace, anything that improves the value, they'll approve it, and you can get that money to do the renovations. So why would you not buy the perfect house in the perfect location just because the roof is old?
That's very true.
And I've tried to, there's some people who don't get that part, but it's you have to listen to your realtor and understand that, like, every house is deteriorating.
Yeah.
So you just have to accept that, there's going to be things to fix.
That's it, exactly. Physical assets, they always deteriorate, and that's why we invented some digital assets.
Yeah, and then of course on the inspection side, like as we're talking about that process, you have a well inspection. We're testing the quality, if we're in a country property, the quality of the water, the quantity, how deep the well is, how fast it replenishes. You're testing the septic, and we have great contacts for these things. So it's, trust your realtor to give you advice on who to use. If you have your own person, that doesn't matter. There's this misconception sometimes that the realtor is hiring an inspector that's going to make it pass, That's not the case. I think the inspectors we have are extremely thorough.
That's it. And that's what we need.
Yeah, we're protecting ourselves and protecting you to make sure you're buying a good quality house, because you're going to call us to sell it. That's the hope.
That's it. And once you move forward with the purchase, well, of course, there's going to be the escrow part of the transaction. So that's going to be done with a lawyer, or I guess on the Quebec side, it's a little bit different, though.
In Quebec, it's with a notary.
Notary. Yeah. That's it. Exactly. So that's on the legal side of the property, and we can also refer some legal professionals in the area. And that's pretty much the process. Then you'll be getting the keys to your new property.
Yeah. Don't buy a car or get any financing on anything else until that deal's closed.
Yes, because that can change the numbers.
Exactly.
So back to our rapid fire questions. I got 2 more for you here. Getting more referrals. What's a quick tip?
Quick tip. Foster your relationships. So client parties, touch base with your database, 10 times a year. And not just to sell them something, but to give them value, something of value. Give them a free home evaluation, an update on their market, whatever it is, or just talk to them. The relationship part is super important.
And now handling a fast-moving market, like when we've seen in the COVID years.
So you need an agent that has a pulse on the market, that is working every day full-time in it, doing deals. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. So if you're a buyer looking to hire somebody, do your due diligence to make sure that they're super active, full-time professional realtor, because there's a lot of part-timers out there. And be prepared. Financing ready, be mentally prepared not to do an inspection. There's this fear, and there's clients that'll be like, no, I would never do that. Well, you're never going to get a house. Like if you were during that COVID period.
Yeah, in that type of market there.
Yeah, if there's 20 offers, well, 18 of them have no inspection. Like you're not winning. It doesn't matter what price you have.
That's it.
So you just have to account for what could come up there.
There we go. Now let's move on to the signature questions of the podcast. Yeah. So if you could go back and tell your younger self something, what would that be?
I would have got my license earlier. that would have been one thing. I don't think I'd tell myself anything. I think it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You end up where you end up, and
That's it. You got it going.
I'm super happy with how my trajectory went. There's a lot of mistakes back there, but I don't care. It's kind of where.
That's how we learn.
Yeah.
That's how we learn, and that's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't tell myself anything.
I like that. I like that. You're the first one on the podcast that said
trucking,
that.
yeah.
There we go. If you never give up, the odds will come back in your favor. Like you show up, and the results will show up too.
Yeah. There's like I don't feel like I'm a overly confident person, like, or I don't portray myself as that, but deep down it's like I feel like I can do anything.
You know you got it.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
it.
like if I wanted to start something, I would start it and I'd win it.
There we go.
That's the mentality.
That's the mindset to have for sure if you want to be successful in business for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And finally, what is your most prized asset?
My kids. Or those aren't assets.
You're not the one that says that though. It must be such a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And my whole business plan is literally centered around how do I spend time with them and snowboard more. Those two things.
There we go. So you were in your element at that ski event there.
Oh yeah. I go on like 3 snowboard trips a year, and
Okay.
I'm at the hill 2-3 times a week.
Very nice, very nice. I was a bit rusty myself. I don't ski too often. Like I said, I come from the north where it's not hilly at all, so there's not much of that going on.
I was actually at the hill 2 weeks before that, and I got a referral from a Westboro builder.
Okay.
And the way that happened is he was on the chair. He's like, it's my first time going up the chair. This guy's in his 50s. And he's like, well, let me do a run with you. I used to be a snowboard instructor. He's like, no way. Like, okay, sure. So I take him down, and within the first run, he's doing perfect turns. He's like, man, I cannot believe that you just like met this random guy in a chair and helped me out. And I'm like doing perfect turns. I was like, yeah, no problem. We went up the chair again. He tells me about his building experience in Westboro, and he's about to sell his personal house. He's like, I'm calling you. So I got a meeting with him next week.
Oh, that's great.
And that's
good for you.
The beauty of just like talking to people, helping people first, and I'll throw out that I'm in
Just
real
be
estate.
personable, right? Just be personable, and you'll become a magnet, really. Yeah.
That's a good way to explain it.
There we go. Okay, well, Danny, thank you very much for coming on to the Asset Ambitions podcast. It was a pleasure. So here you go, guys. Practical insights on becoming a realtor, coming from a very experienced person of over 10 years of experience. So it was a very interesting conversation. Hopefully you've got some value out of it. And please share the episode with some people that might get some value out of it. And once again, thank you very much for coming on to the Asset Ambitions.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.